Hello and welcome back. We are back from a week hiatus. Bienvenidos a todos. This show that we have here is one of those things we started because we always ended up having a lot of tools that we wanted to share with each other, and I figured all of you would want to see those tools as well as a bit of a accountability thing for us both. So, have you been doing your stuff, Doc Williams?
Let's see. More or less, yes. Just got back from the sponsor games last week, so it was a bit of a hectic schedule, but yeah, it was an awesome event.
Mhm.
There's a lot of new opportunities with possible sponsorships and things like that, and so it was very enlightening. A lot of interesting creators, some that were smaller than my channel, some were a lot bigger than mine, and also met a fan of the show that knew my work even before I started doing YouTube, which is
Oh.
very, very weird. But yeah, it was fun.
Not, I guess, is it next week? Let me double check here, calendar wise. Yeah, essentially next Saturday, I'm flying out to Vegas for the NAB show. So I'm going to a conference myself. I get you. So we're going all over the place.
Who are you meeting over there? Is it the Opus team? How'd you get the ticket? What happened with this? Who did you
So
bribe?
NAB show has a lot of companies, and a lot of these companies have extra tickets. So if you look hard enough, you can get a free ticket. And then I'm crashing on a friend's couch, and then I have somebody who's gonna help me with the plane. I already paid for the plane ticket, but I'm working with somebody to get some income to make it a little bit easier. But regardless, I made it happen, and I was like, I went there last year, and while it's not quite my area of expertise, I'm more podcasting and YouTube rather than broadcasting. There is a lot of creators there. There are a lot of creators there. I mean, and also, I wouldn't mind seeing the Opus team again, even though I don't work for them anymore. I do enjoy the team and I do enjoy the product. And so I figured, I could build on the connections I made last year. That's one reason why I went
Uh,
to the podcast conference again last year. So that way I could build on the connections.
I love it. I love it. So what's the topic for today? What are we doing today?
So the first thing was I wanted accountability checks. I wanted to see what we're doing. I feel like there's one thing that I need your little help to push me on, and I have the eGPU and computer right there, and I need to make videos on these like ASAP. I'm like, I blame myself for being 2 months late, but the people who sent it to me also take like 2 weeks to reply. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there, but I want to get these videos out. I have the unboxing and introduction video kind of already filmed. I just need to edit it, maybe add another clip. And then I need to start doing some testing videos and comparison videos too, mainly game capture. And so it's a bit of a new skill because I do have some capture cards, and I actually bought a new monitor too because I sold my secondary monitor. Now I have another secondary monitor because I didn't realize when I sold my other monitor that I needed it for stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I need
All
to get
right.
that done
So
ASAP.
okay, let's you want to go with that route first?
I mean,
Or
there's
do you
no
want
route. There's no route for it. I'm just telling you right now, like as a accountability check, like I'm gonna have to work on this as soon as possible.
all right. So okay, so I want to do notes that I learned from sponsorship games, what I
Okay.
learned, and a couple key takeaways. And then let's just jump right into talking about what you need help with and let's knock it out. What do you think about that?
I can't do it on the call because there's gonna be a lot of like testing and having to install
I thought
3D
you were just
Mark and stuff like that. So
what? I thought you just wanted help with the framework and how it could be productive, like to scale it or to do multiple in a row.
no. I was just talking about, hey, like accountability buddy situation. Like, oh,
Oh,
like, hey, are you
okay.
working on that? Go work on it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna text you later tonight to make sure all those are done.
I do work 7 hours today at my job, so that's gonna
Nope,
be
doesn't matter. Right after 3 hours
That's
after,
it
it should
is
be done.
part of it. I don't know about that. It is one of those things where I've been working a lot lately, like almost every day besides the day I took off. And then the
Am
other
I
thing I
supposed
want,
to be an accountability partner that is mean and like on it? Tell me the level of how much am I pushing right now?
well, what are you wanting from an accountability partner too, Doc? We got
That's
the double
different.
T team
That's
here.
different. I want a kind one that
You want
understands and empathetic. But what
I
I
don't
want to
necessarily need a mean
deliver,
one. I just need a buggy one, someone who bugs me a lot.
okay.
I also want to let you know that I finished or mostly finished the PIOS templates. So I basically finished the
Oh,
Notion one for the most part because I had to basically update it I don't necessarily know if I'm super confident with it right now. I feel like I need to add more to it, but it also was already pretty powerful in the first place. And then I started making the Obsidian template, which I feel like needs a little bit more tweaks before I can fully release it. But I got the product pages made on Ko-Fi, and I already started working on like I already made the thumbnails, and I got the templates workout. But since Obsidian is my main thing, I'm kind of focusing more on that one. But
Oh,
I did want to make a Notion template still, and I kind of just
I love it.
toss the Airtable template to the side because that's gonna be too complicated.
So I'm not sure if well, I couldn't have told you this, I don't think, but couple things. Number one, I met a Obsidian creator there.
Mhm.
And what is it? Linking Your Thinking? That's the guy.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know that name
Uh,
or like uh, Nick Milo.
yep, yep.
I've seen his content.
So he pretty interesting. We're gonna have a chat about YouTube coming up, just because he has a lot of cohorts, things like that.
Maybe we should have him
Um,
on this show.
yeah, very interesting. Nick's interesting. Um, yeah, so a lot of different creators there, and what I realized, I came back and there are so many opportunities for growth. And what I learned was there was a lot of people that had like 5 to 9 million followers on different platforms, and they were still making less money than me with sponsorships.
Mhm.
And it really is positioning, and it's not about your following count. It's not about what you're doing. It's like understanding the needs of the brand and going after that ruthlessly instead of relying on your numbers and trying to flex on that. Those are all like cherry on top, excuse me, but it really is how can you align with their marketing goals for the quarter and year to make them look good for everyone to win. And
Mhm.
so, oh, I won the Shure Move mic
Oh,
too,
nice.
which was like $500. So I got one of those and tested it out. And I made a slide presentation for the event. And then because I did that, they are giving me a free ticket for next year
Nice.
because they're like, you're adding so much value. We didn't ask for that. And I was just like, hey, you how can I give you more value from this event? How can I do better? And so, yeah, it's just a interesting testament of just always being out to help other people and understanding what they need. This is the first year for the sponsorship games. They're trying to make sure their sponsors know how much they're happy or what the attendees did. So giving them more proof how much I use their content or how much I use the sponsors, even right after the event, still gives them more proof for them to get renew the sponsor for next year or to get other sponsors as well. So
Should make a
overall,
video highlighting all the sponsors.
I know. And a lot of them I like it was kit, paper form. I mean, come on now. You know I
Yeah.
use these
This was like,
things. So
why
it
Kit?
was hmm?
Why Kit?
Why
No,
did they
like
get that
why do
sponsor?
you use Kit?
Email automations, all my
Okay.
newsletter and things. I honestly I
Because
like send
newsletters
for
wise, I don't like
yeah,
it as much. But for automations, it's great.
yeah,
And landing pages, it's actually one of the best. I feel like just considering there's so many tools on the market for landing pages, but most of them suck and most of them
yeah.
cost way too much. But I feel like Kit actually has kind of an easy platform.
I think they have one of the best rounded platforms for creators. There's a couple things I don't like Beehive. I don't like
Oh,
their
I hate Beehive.
I don't
Uh,
like the mechanics of it. I don't like anything about it.
The UI UX just I can't get over.
No,
And
I
yeah,
I I know some people like it. I'm just like, I don't know why. I'm like, have you maybe they came from Infusionsoft and maybe they're like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, it's trash to me. I'm sorry.
they have like
Um,
cool automations, and one thing that I really like about Beehive is the referral program. Just to
oh
kind
yeah,
of be devil's advocate a
yeah,
little bit there, because they have that built in, and so you don't have to do like viral loops or whatever to
yeah.
have that. And I think that that's how like what is called Morning Brew. They built up a lot of their following is through referrals, but
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like I would rather just use Substack and viral loops or Ghost and viral loops than use Beehive. Speaking of
No,
which, I
agreed.
probably need to do that. I think.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, it for 90. 8% of what I want
Mhm.
is probably SendFox. But SendFox
Is it
has their own.
broadcasting?
Say it again.
SendFox is mainly broadcasting, no automation, right?
There are a lot of different automations that you can do too. Basically, I view it as like an internal RSS feed. So you can do a couple things. Number one, it's a poor man's version of Substack for the landing pages that can bring you in and all those kind of things. That's number
So you
one.
can do landing pages on there. It looks kind of like Kit's landing pages, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're kit or like they're just a light version. That's all there is
Mhm.
to it. Like it's not doesn't have everything that you need personally. And then the other thing is their motives aren't aligned for growth. And what I mean
Mhm.
by that is they have multiple originals. They know that they are looking for they are trying to create products like what's the fitness like chain that
Planet
gives you
Fitness?
pizza?
Oh, yeah, Planet Fitness?
Planet Fitness. There we go. They want to be Planet Fitness. And what I mean by that is for the vast majority of people, it will be fine because they'll
Mhm.
never use it to the max capacity. It's cheaper, and SendFox is meant for you to be using this as a gateway drug to buy other products for AppSumo.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So they have no incentive to make it better than it needs to be. That being said, it does about 80% of the job. The
Yeah.
automations aren't perfect. But I do like how easy it is to make weekly newsletter of your content. It is really, really good.
Because see,
It just doesn't have great automation.
when I think of newsletter, I think of like an emailed blog post. I don't necessarily do like a newsletter of just here's a couple paragraphs, update here, blah 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 blah. I know some people do, and for them it works.
Yeah.
I want a full on like blog post in my newsletter, and then you could go back and read that newsletter as a blog post later on. But I also think that there's a certain point as a content creator where we need to have like an intro sequence. Like here's the first 6 emails. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining up. The next email you get is going to be about my main thing, like knowledge management for Polymath. If you like that, cool. If you don't, stick around for the next email because you might like that better. And then like I can actually have an intro sequence leading people into my PolyPro membership and then have an automation just set up. So as soon as someone becomes a member on my site, it works there. Problem is I'd probably have to do like a two-way Zapier automation. So anytime someone signs up on a landing page in SendFox, it would become a ghost member. And then anytime someone, you know, yeah, needs a
I
newsletter
mean, yeah.
automation.
I mean, I think it also, yeah, depends on the kind of creator you are and what you need out of your newsletter, right? I would say 9 times out of 10, I would say most people don't have a consistent newsletter. That's number
Yeah.
one. Number two, it depends on how you want to display that data, all of those things. And do you want them to have a deeper relationship where you're having them build a habit and really go deep with your content, like Trung and others, or you're doing more like roundups, like or
Like Mail
morning
Brews
brew
kind of
stuff like
roundups.
that. Hmm.
I feel like there's a few different reasons why a creator would have a newsletter. Like for me, I have my blog posts that I'm going to make anyways. I send them out as a particular newsletter. So I have 5: the swimming, the gaming, the polymath, that kind of thing. And if you're interested in one of those topics, you get a weekly or so newsletter. But then there's also the creator who might be a YouTuber who wants to start collecting emails. And so they'll do a very simplistic newsletter like, hey, here's an update of my content that I'm doing. And again, that goes back to that 1 or 2 paragraph emails. I don't think those are very powerful newsletters, but for some people, that might be what they need, and that's all they can do. That's fine. And then there's like the kind of higher level where it's like you have a full like automation stack, and you might even have like an e-commerce buyback built into that too, if you have
Yeah.
a store on your site or something like that. So like there's kind of like 3 different levels of the email marketing for creators. That's not something
Yeah, I
I've
would
talked
love
about
to.
a lot on this channel, so I just wanted to bring it up.
No, no, no. I like it. I like it. That's a one thing too. Like even some of the biggest creators when I was at this event, very few even had their newsletter.
Mhm.
Like there was ones 300,000 plus, and they're just getting started. They're like, I have a link tree.
Ugh.
That's it.
Sorry.
That's it.
I didn't mean to be like, you know how we were trashing on Beehive earlier. Beehive is god tier compared to Linktree.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
they're two separate products, I would say. But like I hate Linktree with a passion. It's so
Yeah,
simplistic.
yeah, and again, it's better than nothing. They're trying to redirect, but they don't understand like the value. I was talking to
Yeah.
someone and they're doing quite well. They're even having different events. I love their business idea or their business structure. I'll just tell you what it is. It's something called moose painting,
Mm,
and they're from either New Hampshire or they're in Maine. And he is a painter. He teaches people how to paint, but he's big on Instagram and
mm,
TikTok and all those things. He has live events where other companies pay people to go to learn how to paint his style or how to paint these kind of cupboards, and he's crushing it. No newsletter whatsoever. And I'm like, think about how many painters or hobbyists would want to be on your list, all those things. And it
just need to
was
set
at
up a landing page at that point.
yeah, and at dinner, it was walking them through the reasons why they would need a newsletter because they're like, no one wants to hear it. But I'm like, think about I'm like, what's the main thing that people are asking you? And they're like, they love his stories because they love just random stories. I'm like, there you go. That's going to be your newsletter. Like, think about that. And so we went through some of examples they really liked. I guess it was an influencer that does a lot of beard content. I was like, look at what he's doing. His emails are three sections over and over again. Rinse and repeat this. So I think there is a lot of content and strategy around getting up and running as a
Mhm.
influencer, not so much of like practical reasons or implementation of like newsletters and things like that. So super interesting. Um,
I love that.
and I'm motivated this week. I think I might redo my email sequence as we're talking.
Oh.
So I think I'm gonna add it.
I will also I want to share with you, and I'm going to share my screen here in a second so people can see. Where is the chat? I guess there is no chat. I'll share with you on Twitter real quick. But there's a couple tools that I came across, and one thing I wanted to start doing more on here again is sharing more tools because I feel like you and I will send stuff on DMs, but we kind of forget to kind of do stuff sometimes. So here's a couple new tools that I came across. Where's share screen? Come on, Riverside, stop changing the UI. There we go. And so,
Hmm.
first and foremost, I dismantled my PolyTools website, right? We talked about that last time. And one of the things that I did was I brought that PolyTools newsletter back into the fold on my PolyInnovator website. I did the same thing with my gaming site. The swimming newsletter is on pause right now because of the limitation of Ghost Pro. But if I change to a different host, I'll have unlimited newsletters. And I think that's a very interesting thing because there's tools like Button Down and I think bear.dev or whatever, not to mention Ghost CMS, that technically handle multiple newsletters in one site. And I really like that as a multidisciplinary creative. I think it's an interesting way of having the option. If you want to follow all of them, great. If you want to follow just one of them, perfect. This directory website, it's pretty cheap and they actually have a lifetime plan because it's still pretty new. And even the free plan is good enough for me right now. Unlimited listings, that's kind of the biggest deal. And I had the issue of paying the cost $16 a month for Ghost CMS, and I kept having issues with the like some of the functions of my theme were
I'm
breaking
about to
down.
buy this right now. Thanks so much for showing me this. You punk. This is why we can't do tools reviews. I was like, where's my card? I'm about to buy this right now. I hate this. I
It's
hate
brand
you
new, so
so
be
much when
careful.
you do
But
this.
like,
Woo.
why don't I? Here, hold on. Let me not share.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
okay.
Oh no.
Let me see. Is that just me messing around? Okay, that was because I messed around. That was not because of the website. I just wanted to make sure none of my personal information was shared. You know what I mean? Nothing was
No,
there.
just let it ride. Let it ride.
So I don't have any listings on here just yet. I mainly just added the categories. And
Yeah.
so I have all my categories here and whatnot. It wasn't too hard, just go here and it's pretty simple. Same thing with the listings. You can actually take payments for people to submit their tools to your site, which is kind of nice. Maybe because our
Ooh.
recording, it's taken a while. There's import and then create a listing. one thing that's a big deal, and I talked to the guy about it, is you can only have one category per tool. And that was one of the main reasons why I left Framer back in the day. So this would be the fourth time I've made this site, which is why I have not done anything with it yet. But if I don't have to keep paying for costs, it's cool. And with the free plan, you can't do blogs, but on the lifetime or paid plans, you can do blogs. Not sure how I feel about that, but if we were to go back to the direct base,
I wonder, it depends on what it looks like too. What does the blog look like? Are they
yeah,
using their own blog, really? Pretty
they
much.
are. But it doesn't look half bad.
Interesting. Yeah, it's not horrible.
And then by the same creator, there's another cool tool. Speaking of emails, Sheetsy. And I have a list of emails that I want to use at some point. And I was like, this seems like a great way of going about doing that.
It's the same team.
I think so.
Interesting.
Because if
Very
you look at their
style.
if you look at their showcases here, it's like showcasing different tools. I think it's this one, maybe. Maybe it's Artism, whatever it is. Like this is all his tools. So like I think it's the same guy. And I messaged him a little bit, and I think they're still working on the stuff, but yeah.
It looks like probably direct bases, they're still trying to get traction. That's why they do LTD. Sheetsy, I remember them, right? They've been there for a minute.
I don't know.
Something. But the name is so familiar. It's kind of like 5 other ones that have the same name. You know how it is.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like it. Thanks for bringing that up. Do you want me now to start talking about tools now that
you have a couple that we haven't talked about, sir? That are like interesting?
One that I am going to probably think this is the sleeper hit of AppSumo in probably the last 6 months. Easy.
I literally just went on AppSumo while we were talking, and I couldn't find anything good. So I'm kind of curious to see what you're bringing up.
Yeah, man. Okay, so what I have here is something called Subscriber.
Oh, I've seen that.
Now, it's newer. What I would say is it's probably my favorite experience working through a script and doing these things. I was feeling a lot of anxiety working with a new sponsor. I wanted to make sure that I got it right. And I was just like overthinking this. Subscriber really makes you go step by step of what you can be doing. You can have a couple different options. You can analyze, similar to if you go tons of other vidIQ, whatever you, 1 of 10 or 1 of 1. No, it's 1 of 10. Tons of ones which have overlapping abilities. But what I like about this is it takes the process of all of these things, and then in the script writing, the focal point of Subscriber is getting the scripts right and getting all of this other information. You can be very intentional with the script of how long do you want the video to be. It changes the word type, the word count. It allows you to have an outline and a full script. After you're done with the script, it also allows, it turns into a, you can use it as a prompt, a teleprompter. You can, it changes the whole screen size, and you can use it as a teleprompter. It goes through all of these different steps. So research, framing, title, thumbnail concept, hook, payoffs, draft, edit, and then you can export. So really, really, it's not doing it in a one shot. And you know the dangers of just a one shot right there. But I thought it was really well done. And you can, to me, they had a lot of input from creators, and the workflow feels like what I would be doing in real time. So I thought it was a really good experience. It starts at like 99. Depending if you have one channel, you can just do one channel, but you can add multiple channels depending on what you've got. And all of these, again, you can go step by step through the whole process, or if you just need 1 or 2 sections for what you're building out for your video. Thought it was super impressive. And yeah, they just keep getting better and better. So yeah,
I will say UI wise, like the homepage didn't really impress me very much. In fact, I was a little disappointed with the layout of the homepage. But as I'm seeing your backend, this actual UI, the usable part of the sites, is actually really nice.
Yeah, and I think what's happening is, if I wasn't, so I've been looking at this over time, and since they've been launched on AppSumo, they're building in real time as they're on sale. So this is the basically everything was just one page before, more or
Mm.
less, and they keep adding more and more sections to it. And I think they're leaving what they had before, but I feel like they're getting better and better as they're going through this. I like the founder, really interesting. And then again, you can kind of see what they're trying to do. Deep research on YouTube niche. They're thinking
Finally,
about
a
adding.
company that's not using Canny. I hate Canny so much. This
Say
might be
that
Canny.
again. Is
This
it
might be
Canny a
Canny.
different product,
No,
or
so
is it
can
like roadmaps? What is it?
yeah, Cannies are like feedback tool. It's like Canny.io or something like that. And so many of
Hmm.
these new tools will use Canny as a feedbacking mechanism, but you have to sign up for Canny like every time. It's kind of like Get Rewardful, where every time you want to sign up for the an
Oh yeah.
affiliate program, you have to do it separately every single time. And I hate it. I don't want to leave feedback now because I don't want to sign up for another tool after signing up for your new tool. I think Direct Base was the
I
last
feel you.
time I tried to give some feedback to Direct Base, and I'm like, I don't want to do Candy again. Um,
Yeah.
I just remembered something. I went on Discord to share something with somebody, and I had shared something with this team before. And so Linus Tech Tips, 15 million subscribers, huge channel. They're switching over from a more sponsor focused strategy, like you're talking about, to YouTube ads. And I don't remember the exact reasoning why. I think because of the whole honey issue, and since they have 5,000 videos or whatever it is, they are actually going back and removing old sponsors and just like that are outdated, no longer partner with.
Tell me more about YouTube ads. You mean just an ad roll and everything like that,
Yeah, I
or?
think they're because I think they had ad roll either partially turned off or turned off all the way and just focused on sponsors
Oh,
and their merch. And now I think they're pivoting, which is really interesting considering that what they do is kind of something you want to watch out for as a big creator.
yeah. No, it makes sense. I personally, I'll right now I'm only doing more SaaS deals, but again, things can change with SaaS, and they're I I see two things. Number one, I view it almost as a limited partnerships because SaaS, if they're VC funded, they can change their mind and do different things. So that is troublesome at times. But also, if you look at, I, I mean, I looked at my affiliate revenue from Kit, and it was, I think I'm over 10K for Kit. But the problem was, they changed the affiliate program, affiliate
Mhm.
agreement. And I mean, it's their affiliate program, so they can do terms of service if they want to change it and you're agreeing into it. But if anyone remembers, Kit used to be lifetime of the user. Then they changed it to first 12 months, which I feel like is just like such a like kneecapping your audience. And that's another reason why, and I've told AppSumo, like they're like, you should really be an affiliate based on principle. I won't do it because they
Mm.
changed their affiliates, and for years they weren't focused. And I know the team I work with AppSumo, and they said it wasn't a focus. So if it's not a focus to them, I'm not going to be they're not going to be a focus of mine.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Are you thinking about moving away from Kit then?
we're on the fence with it. Basically, I would be open to it if I'm going to get more of a long-term partnership with
Mhm.
Klaviyo or others to create content and to be a partner like that. Not I do not see a huge amount of people using Klaviyo really in the space. There's email marketers and things like that, but they're not really doing it from a story standpoint. So to be continued. I'm looking if I'm going to be switching, but I want to be creating content. I want a deeper relationship.
Mhm.
As a default, I like Kit's team, just people in general, so that's what's keeping me around. But I'm not opposed to it if I went that route, but I'm not actively pursuing it, if it makes sense.
I wanted to pull up a while back. This is back when I was still on like WordPress. I got a lifetime deal for an email automation tool, and I was going to even tell you the name and share my screen. But as I'm looking at it, the website looks great. I tried logging in, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Is
sucks.
yeah,
Um, that is no good.
yeah. So much for lifetime, huh?
Yeah.
Also, another lifetime
Yeah.
deal. One of my first that I ever really got was videobolt.net, and I still love them. And I still have like all my outros have been made in that tool and that kind of thing. I still need to make us an intro, I guess, for this show. But the idea is like you can just get lower thirds or intros and outros or automation or not automations, visualizers. I mean, but my lifetime deal was I get 8 free videos a month at 1080p, limited on the minutes, but it was kind of like I don't know how many minutes. Now I have unlimited exports, but capped off at 720p. And
Interesting.
I don't like that. I don't
Yeah.
want lower resolution. And I talked to the guy about it, and he's like, "Let's talk about it." And then he didn't reply. And I'm like, "Well, I guess I got to stop using this tool because I don't want low resolution. Like, I don't consider 720p to be high enough quality." And I was giving you crap about it earlier with the camera, but it's
That's
just
what you
that.
get. And so that's actually funny that you mentioned it. So I think we talked about it. Why the difference between this is the ZV-E10 Sony.
Uh-huh.
So the streaming with using USB, it's 720p that it can push. I believe the new version, the 2 model, allows you to do the 4K through USB. I have to check that.
Is it a
That's the
limitation of your
difference.
USB port though? Like is it just a camera or is it just like you plugged it into the wrong port and maybe
No,
if
no,
you
no,
switch
no.
it
I that is the setting. Like that's there. Now again, I would have to check if they did a software update
like
that
firmware or
allows you
something?
to change it out. But that was, I mean, this was during pandemic. This was like remember, I mean, it's been so long now though, but it's been like almost 5 years.
It's 5 years, yeah. That's how we
That's
met back then.
yeah. Now that I think about it, like time is now just it's hitting me on my shoulders
You're
right now.
getting old.
I am there. So I will have to check that. I forgot to say. Okay, one last thing. Again, sponsorship games. I'm sorry. Random people that were at sponsorship games. I met a lot of them at Vid Summit, and
Mm.
so super weird crossover people. That
Where was
yeah.
sponsorship games?
Say it again.
Where was it?
San Antonio. San
Hmm.
Antonio. But a lot of people were
Maybe next
flying
year
in
I
from
need to
wherever.
go there because I'm probably going to Vid Summit this year if Opus sends me.
Yeah,
And I think that to me, even more so than podcast movement, Vid Summit's going to be the most powerful conference I go to because of all the other creators I get to meet there.
it's my favorite. It really is. It's my favorite.
Are you
Not
going this
VidCon.
year?
99.999% I'll be there. So unless
We
I
get to
like
see each other in person, sir. We got to record a live video. We got to do that.
this and now yes. Now is also Podcast Fest going to be in DC again this year or no?
Okay, so it's Podfest and Podcast Movement are two different conferences. It's like saying VidCon and VidSummit.
Yeah.
So Podfest is always in Orlando, I think, and that one I guess is more creator focused, and so I haven't been to that one yet. But I just want to mention it because I hear that it's more creator focused, and I kind of want to try it now. Podcast Movement is a little bit more industry focused, but there are a lot of creators there. It's going to be in Dallas.
Dallas. Okay, so they're
Actually, both
moving.
VidSummit and Podcast Movement are going to be in Dallas, but they're like a month apart.
Interesting. Well, I don't like Dallas as a concept, but I will
I
go for this one.
don't like
Uh
Houston as a concept. It's too spread out.
yeah, yeah. San
I want to.
Antonio, very weird, but
I
nice
still want to
place.
move to Austin, but I want to update you too, and anyone who's watching who cares at all too. But I'm not moving to Austin. I don't think anytime soon. Just the way the
Hmm.
economy is, and just the lack of income I've been able to not produce enough. I don't think I'm gonna be able to afford living down there just yet. I was hoping to make $1,000 a month at this point to be able to go down there, but I guess or $2,000. I make about $1,000 a month. I feel like with between online stuff and retail, but there's a cool apartment across my town in a side of the city that I haven't really lived on before. So at the very least, I'll go to this new apartment. By the way, the bedrooms are equal size, so it's really nice. So I actually have a lot more space. I can get fiber internet, which is a big deal.
Nice.
I have coaxial cable based internet now, even though I have a high speed, it's terrible. And on top of that, it is an interesting area, so there's plenty of places to walk to. So as disappointed I am I'm not moving, at least this place is still technically an upgrade.
I love it. When is that going to happen?
My lease is up in June. It's March now. We were trying to maybe move in April, but that's going to be a little too soon because we have to buy out our lease here.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things which probably about May at the latest June.
How long have you been at this spot?
Since before I met you.
Oh man. Oh man.
In fact, I lived in this apartment longer than I ever lived anywhere else besides a place in my childhood. Like my childhood apartment home that I lived in, I was there for like 11 years, I think. And then we moved somewhere else for a few years, and then I moved out, and then I lived in that complex for about 3 years, and that was 3 different apartments in that complex, and then we moved here because it was super cheap, and now it's almost double what we paid when we moved in, so we're like, "We're outta here."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
And
I think it's a great move. I think that's good, and I think it's a positive attitude, new scenery,
yeah,
and more growth. I like it.
and maybe I can travel more at the very least. Any final thoughts before we wrap this episode up, Doc?
No, hopefully next week or in 2 weeks, I'll know more if I secure these new sponsorships and everything like that. But yeah, I just need to message you to make sure you finish these reviews,
Yeah.
and we'll be back. Oh, we'll be back in like 2 weeks or something. You're about to leave. We'll be
Well,
back.
we'll meet
All that
normally
stuff.
next week, and then the week after, we'll just have to meet at the end of the week instead of Tuesday.
Cool. Let's do
Alright.
it.
Sounds good.